Now, you may be wondering what your boy's been during all the Sonic news leaking out and all the information coming out about the voice actors leaving, all of the rumors and stuff from Zippo, and to put it simple, I've been in school. But I'm not going to stop making content. Content may be a little bit slower, but, that's all. But everyone has been hyped around the 30th anniversary for Sonic the Hedgehog, including myself. I've made multiple videos on it talking about how I've been hyped, how you should be excited for it, and while I say that you should be cautiously optimistic, there is room to be excited. I mean, it's the Blue Blur's 30th anniversary. Sonic the Hedgehog is one of gaming's most iconic IPs, period. And despite the varying quality of the games over the course of the series' lifetime, it's still recognizable and notable for doing a lot of great things in its run. And its 30th anniversary is the perfect time to come about and celebrate the series as a whole. Especially all these leaks, rumors, and just information coming out about things like voice actors and writers leaving the team. So let's just dive right into this information. But before I start, I want to say that you should check out this podcast me and my boy Zach did. It's on his channel. Links will be down in the description. Well, let's get right into it. What's good, everybody out there on YouTube? This is man Shadicstick dropping some hot fragga on this mic. And this first section is going to be quite big. It's going to be lengthy. I'm going to be talking about quite a few things. I'm going to be giving my opinions on quite a few things. This stuff is related to the blog post posted by Zippo. If you don't know who Zippo is, he's a notable leaker. The most notable thing he's known for doing is actually leaking Super Mario 3D All-Stars and I think Bowser's Fury, both coming out and coming to the Nintendo Switch or something like that. But links, as always, will be down in the description to the sources and all the information I'll be talking about in this part of the video. So I'm going to hit the most important parts real quick. We have Sega in charge, modern Sonic being the focus, a new 2D game and a new 3D game, with some other stuff sprinkled in there. And I'm going to talk about how I feel about every single thing. So first of all, Sega of America is now in charge of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. And this has mostly come about apparently because the Sega of Japan branch has essentially realized that Sonic is a lot more popular in the West than he is in Japan. Not to say that he isn't popular in Japan, but it's nowhere near the level it is in places like America and Europe. So they've decided to basically pass it off to someone who would know more about the demographics that are actually playing the games a lot more than, say, Japan. I think this is good because I feel like a large portion of, the issues that have happened in the past 10 or so years with the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise have come from a lack of understanding of the audience that Sonic has outside of Japan. And I feel like Japan is a lot more lenient and a lot less, focused on what they want from the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. They just kind of see him as a dude who runs fast and he's cool and he's blue. And that's it at the end of the day. I mean, that was kind of one of the things you saw in the Famitsu review of Sonic Forces. They rated that game highly, mostly because I guess their expectations for Sonic games and what they want from a Sonic game is different than what we want. And that's how regional differences work. And I think that's been a large issue with the series, since Lost World going forward. Not to say that there haven't been good games in there, but we haven't gotten many games, and on top of not getting many games, the series hasn't gone in the direction that fans have wanted for a long time, especially those in America and Europe. So I think this is a good thing. Apparently, this is going to be handled in Irvine, California. They're calling it the Sonic Pillar. And while the game development will still take place a large part in Japan, and Iizuka and Hoshino are still the leads on the franchise, they're going to be doing this in the United States now instead of Japan, which I think was the case for the series for a long time. I think from the late 90s to the early 2000s. So I'm excited to see where things will go in the tone and the shift that we're going to see in terms of how Sonic will be molded in the future. The second point I think is really important, and that is that modern Sonic is the focus, which I think Sega should have been doing for the longest time. I have had this issue with people getting upset at Classic for a lot of dumb reasons, but I still think modern Sonic should have been the focus, because I think the modern Sonic brand as a whole has been devalued by Sega themselves by essentially riding on the coattails of games like Sonic Mania and the classic nostalgia. And while I understand why they did it, I don't think that was the right way about keeping the franchise, I guess, afloat and in a good or positive light within the eyes of, non-fans and, the reviewers. It just feels like they've been afraid to push the fact that they make quality modern games to these guys, and these guys have more control over the image of Sonic than Sega themselves do. But hopefully, with this focus on modern games and Sega of America handling, Sonic, this will change. We've needed this for a long time, and modern should have been the focus for a while. There's no excuses, really. So with this focus on modern, we're also going to get a new Sonic collection that's going to essentially celebrate the whole of the 30 years of Sonic, and more specifically kind of, focus on things that haven't been released or been in circulation for a while, like games like Sonic R, Sonic Advance, Sonic Pocket Adventure, which is really hard to get if you don't know. It's on the Neo Geo Pocket Color, and that thing sold like crap outside of Japan. So what I think is essentially going to happen, and what Zippo says here, is that I believe that this is going to be handled by both Sonic Team and M2. If you don't know who M2 is, the most recent thing I think they worked on in relation to Sonic has actually been the Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 ports for the Nintendo Switch, which I think are stellar. And while many people are upset that it's not the Christian Whitehead versions of the game, I think they're still competent versions of the game, and I think they're unique and actually better in many ways, from the Christian Whitehead version of the games. But I also do prefer the Christian Whitehead version in other ways, more specifically having widescreen, which M2 has yet to implement really in any of their, ports or re-releases of classic Sonic games. But here's to hoping that they rectify that and do something with those classic Sonic games to make them widescreen, update them for the modern day and age. Do something to, say, for instance, Sonic R, make it more playable, make it more enjoyable for the average consumer. Have a mode where you can play just like the original Sonic R. I mean, they do these things. So it wouldn't be unprecedented for M2 to do something like this for older Sonic games, make them more playable, and make them a lot more enjoyable in the modern day and age. I'd also like to see them implement some type of online system in which you can play with friends cooperatively, play against friends competitively, whatever it may be. I think Sega is the best at doing collections in a lot of regards, and also the worst, because I feel like they know how to make an amazing collection. They've done it many times over. I think Sonic Mega Collection and Mega Collection Plus, but more so Mega Collection, is the best example of how to do a collection of games and how to do it well. Full stock with a gallery, music, promotional videos, stuff you can only see in that game. And I really hope Sega looks back to that and tries to capture that same thing that they did way back in the early 2000s with Sonic Mega Collection Plus, Gems Collection, and so on and so forth. I also hope that they add many of the 3D games. While I'm not expecting every single 3D game, that's a lot of space and that's a lot of work. I hope they would at least add the big stuff. Sonic Adventure 1, 2, Heroes, even maybe Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic 06. I mean, heck, they implemented games like 3D Blast and Sonic Mega Collection. So them adding games that are, bad wouldn't be, a bad thing, I think. You're celebrating the entirety of your series, and I want you to celebrate the entirety of it. Give us those games in HD form. As much as I hate Sonic 06, there are many people who love that game and would like to play the game. There's many people who haven't experienced it. I think it would just be a smart move on Sega to do these things with this collection. And I'll make a video going a lot more in depth about what I would like in the perfect Sonic collection or in a Sonic collection. So look out for that video soon, but let's move on to the next thing in here, and that is a new 2D Sonic game by Dimps. Now, this one I was not expecting. The reason I say that is I thought they would keep Christian Whitehead and team on to maybe do a Sonic Mania or Sonic Mania 2. But we do know, according to this and in the past, because Sega said it multiple times, that classic Sonic being around and being, I guess, at the forefront of the series was supposed to be this temporary thing, but over the past decade or so, that hasn't been the case. But hopefully, I hope Dimps does this, because I really love their games. I love all the Sonic Rush games. I love the, Sonic Generations 3DS, Sonic Colors. I love the Sonic Advance games. I like Sonic Pocket Adventure. And despite hating Sonic 4 Episode 1, I actually like Sonic 4 Episode 2, though I don't think it's their best product, and nor do I think it's a very great game. I think it's, decent. And despite the dumpster fire that I think Sonic Lost World 3DS was, overall, Dimps has had a pretty good track record over the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, and anytime they've ever had a blunder, I think it's been less so because of Dimps' inability to make a good Sonic game, and more so because Sega wasn't really doing a good job of watching over Dimps and seeing what they were doing, or really channeling Dimps in the right direction for their games. Let's be quite honest here. I'm really glad to see Dimps back on the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, and I'd really like to see what they can do with Sonic in 2D going on forward. Apparently, according to this article, it's supposed to be somewhat in the advanced and rush formula. So will we see multiple playable characters? Will we see teams again? Will we see characters like Blaze? I mean, Blaze is my favorite Sonic character, and if we got another Sonic Rush game, you know your boy is covering it. And if it's the best 2D game on the planet, I'm gonna shill it to the end of time. Just because Blaze is in there, and just because it's the best. I get to say, yo, the best Sonic game got Blaze in it. Blaze is the protagonist of the best Sonic game. Boom. But jokes aside, let's all move to the next subject, and the big one is the next 3D Sonic game. And I know a lot of people have been speculating on what the next Sonic game will be. We've had rumors and leaks going around that it's an adventure remake. Overall, I think these games deserve to be remade and need to be remade at the same time. I think it's the prime time to make a remake of these 20-year-old titles now. You got to think about that. These games are retro now. They're not new. They're not modern in the sense that we think of them. They came out in the first half of the Sonic franchise's life cycle. By all means, we could even consider these classic now, if you think about it. And I think they could update and polish these games for the modern day and age without changing a ton. But the first thing we know about this new 3D Sonic game, for sure based off of this blog post, is that it's not a boost game. That is fully 3D with no hybrid sections, so no 2D sections. It's not 3D and then it goes to 2D, which I wasn't opposed to. I thought that worked really well for Sonic. But let's go on. There will be more playable characters than just Sonic, which it's amazing to me because I never thought they'd do this again for the longest time. One of the things that I really loved about older 3D Sonic games, despite their quality, was their use of the other characters in the Sonic franchise. I know many of the reviewers and, gaming outlets will be like, I hate Sonic friends, they're annoying, but as a Sonic fan, and I think I can speak for the, majority of us, we all love Sonic's friends. We love those characters. Many of them are people's favorite characters. Many people who are actual fans of the series prefer other characters than Sonic because those characters are just so iconic and so close to people because I think were at least implemented well in most cases upon their first arrival. And that's not that they value Sonic himself. Everybody loves Sonic. But his friends have so much character, they have so many different personalities, and their designs, I think, in most cases are almost always really cool. And I think it gives the series a style and character that many other gaming franchises don't have. But to move on for that, I think it says that it'd be, conceptualized by the Sonic Pillar in the US, which, leads me even more so to think that it's a remake of Adventure 1 and 2. And that, it's a bunch of new hires, the game will be cross-gen, and it won't tie into the movies at all. So considering all the information we have here, multiple playable characters, fully 3D, on top of having a return of the spin dash in 3D and character upgrades, I definitely see this being an adventure remake. And if not an adventure remake, maybe a return to the adventure formula in Sonic Adventure 3. Now, do I think this is a return to the adventure formula? I don't know. I'm going to talk about that in a later section of the video. But I kind of want to wrap up this section and then talk about that in that later section of the video. The timestamp is here if you want to hear me talk about it. And you can click on the video thing and it'll send you to it. Thank you for adding, a timestamp bar, YouTube. We all love it. But the last thing is just having cameos and guest appearances. And I've already been doing this with games like Puyo Puyo Tetris. And I think he'll be a guest character, or he's already a guest character in the new Super Monkey Ball game. I know he was in that remaster, Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz, if I remember correctly. So that's not something that I wasn't expecting. I mean, it's the year of Sonic. Come on, he has to cross over with other game franchises. But let's move on from this. The next thing I want to talk about is all of the voice actors leaving. Nearly everyone but Mike Pollock has been seemingly recast. I'm really glad Mike Pollock got to stay, but I'm really hurt to see a lot of people leaving. And the reason I say this is because I've grown to love some of these voice actors. While I wasn't keen on the guy who played Knuckles in Team Sonic Racing because I don't even know his name. I don't know why they switched the voice actor for Knuckles. I mean, almost every single time I think we've had a great Knuckles voice actor except for Team Sonic Racing. So it just was jarring to me. But I think that was the first signal that we want to get a recast for everybody in the Sonic cast, outside of Eggman. Tails' voice actor is getting replaced, Amy's is getting replaced, and we're getting more and more confirmations of people getting replaced every day. I wouldn't be surprised if we got something soon that confirming the next voice actor for Sonic, maybe in this massive presentation that they do digitally, because we're in COVID. Maybe sort of a Sega Direct, instead of Nintendo Direct, we get a Sega Direct, and it's all about Sonic in 2021, what they're doing for the franchise, and the direction they're going to take the franchise in moving forward, because that's something I think that we need. But who would I like to see, considering that Roger Craig Smith, and I actually did make a whole video and I scrapped it because I didn't think it was, the greatest video I'd ever done. But who I'd like to see as Sonic the Hedgehog, who I'd like to see play the Blue Blur. And I have a few recommendations on some people who I'd like to see. The first one on my list is actually Robbie Daymond. And you may ask, who is Robbie Daymond? Well, I think one of the roles he's been most well known for in recent time is actually Prompto from Final Fantasy 15, and he's also known to play Peter Parker in many of the animated versions of Spider-Man. I think his voice would fit really well for Sonic the Hedgehog, and if you've heard him, I think many people who are, listening to me would also agree in this regard. But a character that he has played in the past that kind of has the same, character archetype as Sonic is Saray from Tales of Zestiria, which, despite my mixed feelings on the game, I think he does a really good job at playing Saray, and I think that would really fit Sonic the Hedgehog well. He's also already working within Sega, playing the voice of Goro Akechi in Persona 5. And because he works in-house at Sega, I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled him in to play a character from the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. Maybe not Sonic himself, but maybe another character. His voice is really versatile, and I think he's that guy that many people are looking for to play Sonic. He has a really nice range in terms of the characters he can play and the tones and moods he can set with the characters that he plays. So I just really like to see Robbie come in and fill in the shoes as the Blue Blur. Another person who I think would actually kind of be the best fit for Sonic the Hedgehog is Yuri Lowenthal, known as Sasuke Uchiha, Ben Tennyson, and most recently Spider-Man, Peter Parker. He plays Peter Parker in the Spider-Man PS4 and PS5 games, and going forward, I'd like to see him continue to play Spider-Man because I think he's become my favorite incarnation of Spider-Man. It's kind of ironic that I'm choosing people who've played Spider-Man first as people who would play Sonic because I don't know why. I think the cocky attitude really fits. I mean, the way they portray, Peter as Spider-Man, the cocky attitude, the jokes, the quips, all of that, I think really fits Sonic well. And because of that, I think it translates well to a Sonic voice. Yuri Lowenthal is one of my favorite voice actors of all time, if not my favorite. So I'd love to see him play Sonic and become possibly the most iconic Sonic voice. I mean, Roger had really stepped his game up and he kept getting better. And as much crap as people give Roger, I thought he did well as Sonic. He became my favorite Sonic, and I didn't think he'd ever fill in the shoes that Jason had filled in for me. Because Jason and Ryan were the Sonic I grew up with. And while I don't care that much for Ryan, Jason was really great, especially by the time we got to the end. Sonic Unleashed, Sonic and the Black Knight, those were phenomenal performances by Jason. And I'd like to see Yuri take on a role similar to Jason's, the more serious Sonic. I think he would do that really well, especially considering his range and the way he's able to portray emotion through his voice is so good. He's so good at it. And the last one I have is Zeno Robinson, because listening to Zeno in some anime dubs recently and listening to him more and seeing him in more roles has made me want to see him in more things, and I think he'd actually do a pretty good job as Sonic the Hedgehog. Hopefully we could see him. I think his most notable role as of recent has actually been as Hox from My Hero Academia, but you can go on to behind the voice actors and see a lot more of the roles he's played, and as of recent he's been getting role after role after role. So to see him as Sonic the Hedgehog would be a massive W, and I've been watching and keeping up with him on Twitter and other social media, and this guy is great. I love his energy, and I love his voice acting, and I think it fits Sonic the Hedgehog. But, with all this talk about voice actors, me talking about the tones and stuff of voice actors, which voice actors would fit Sonic the Hedgehog the best? Are we going to see a tone shift in the series? Because not just the voice actors have been, cast to the side, but also the writers, Pontaff. And I think we will be seeing a shift in the writing style and the tone of the series. And this is more so because I think of fan outcry in the direction they've really taken the series in terms of dialogue and overall plot. I think Sonic Forces was the culmination of all the issues of the past 10 years of issues that we've had in terms of writing. And that's not to say that necessarily everything that we've had written over the past, 10 or so years has been bad. Even though Sonic Boom wasn't handled by Pontaff, it was handled by different people. I think that was an amazing show, and I thought that it had really great writing. And a lot of people are trying to discredit the show now for some reason, which I find really odd, considering how good it was and how witty it was, basically because it has a little bit of meta humor in it. And I've kind of hated that the Sonic fanbase does this. They'll find one thing and they'll try to turn it to 11 and make it more of an issue than it actually is, and completely discredit something that had credit from the series. It's like they don't want the series to be viewed in a good light. It's almost as if they have one thing they like and then everything else that's not that thing they hate. I don't know, that's just me. But hopefully we see a tonal shift in the series. I think the tone for the series worked in games like Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations because the plots didn't take themselves necessarily that seriously. But when we got into other games in the series like Sonic Lost World, which took itself relatively serious by the end of the game, and Sonic Forces, which was built on the premise of Eggman winning and you having to take back everything from Eggman, I don't think Pontaff needed to continue writing. Though I don't think people need to inherently attack them, though. I think that's an issue, another issue the Sonic fanbase has is, personally attacking people for doing their job. I get it, you don't like the writing. Criticize them all you want, but at the end of the day, a lot of these guys have, bad impressions of the fanbase because we wind up acting toxic towards them. Don't do that, please. But overall, I think we're going to see a shift in tone for the series that we haven't seen before. I think it's going to be that nice middle ground between, the Sonic Colors and Sonic, Generation stuff and the Sonic 06 and Shadow the Hedgehog stuff. Something more like, I guess, a Sonic Adventure 2, which I'd be pretty down with. So, what are some suspicions and predictions of stuff that I have? Will we get the adventure remakes? I think they aren't out of the window, but if we get them, I think they're going to be massive overhauls of the game. Like I said again beforehand, I think they're going to try to keep the spirit of the game true, but overhaul the game in ways that we wouldn't expect. Maybe adding more stages, expanding on upgrade abilities, fleshing out many of the existing stages, and maybe fleshing out the hub world in Sonic Adventure 1 because I don't like it. The more I go back and play it, the worse I see that it gets. Just winds up as an unnecessary piece of gameplay that I don't really like. It keeps me away from the action, if that makes sense. But I think if they really overhauled that hub world and say, for instance, Sonic Adventure 1, we'd have something really great. And maybe they add a hub world to Sonic Adventure 2. I'm not necessarily opposed to hub worlds in Sonic games. It's just that I don't think they've been done super well, ever. But I think if they take something like Sonic Adventure 1's world, scale it up, make it bigger, make it better, make it more streamlined, and make it more obvious where you need to go. Give us maybe a map that with missions in that hub world to make it worth, exploring that hub world and doing things within it. And you have an amazing game. Or not even an amazing game, an amazing remake, an amazing reimagining and re-envisioning of one of the most iconic video games and platformers of all time. That's just what I'd really like to see. So on that note, with, this being fully 3D, maybe it's not the adventure style, maybe it's something else. Let's say that. Just, to play devil's advocate. Will we see other 3D gameplay styles return? And I think we would, but as spin-off titles. Because I don't want to see the boost go. I don't want to see the adventure gameplay style go. I really like both gameplay styles. And I think that they both have their own merits and their own faults. But I think that, even separately and not together, they work really well. And I wouldn't want to see them go. Maybe delegate smaller games to those styles and make the one big game the new Sonic the Hedgehog style. Or if they are returning to the, 3D gameplay, I hope they don't give up on the boost. Maybe make smaller games boost games. Spin-off titles that, aren't AAA budgets. Because I think that boost would even work well in those situations, as long as it's seen over and it's executed extremely well. I mean, that goes for any style, but I think the boost is the most flexible in that regard. And I think when you take a fully 3D approach with Sonic, and it's something like a Sonic Adventure, Sonic 06, Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic Heroes, you need to take the AAA budget, and you need to go at it. Unless it's a spin-off. I mean, even if it's a spin-off, I feel like you need a AAA budget if you're going to do that style and do it well. I got tired of seeing the adventure style get worse as it went on. And I don't want to see that happen again should we continue on with this fully 3D, adventure style. I want to see it remain good. But I think all of that, hinges on the success of this one game coming out. And finally, should we be excited? I'd say yes. Given the status of the leaker and all the rumors that have been going around, we should be excited. I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire. Will I be making more videos on all the subjects and topics I talked about today? Yes, I will. But guys, this is me, man, Shadicstick, and I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I want to say, first of all, check out my boy Zach's channel down in the description. We host a podcast on his Twitch channel and on his YouTube channel, in which we talk about different things in life. We talk about video games, anime, just the things of the world, things that are happening around us, different subjects, how to handle people, just everything. So make sure you check it out in the description down below. Also, follow your boy on Twitter. We are trying to get to 300 followers, and it'd be highly, highly, highly appreciated. But with that being said, this is the being man, Shadicstick. Remember, hot Faraga turns to cold Blizzaga. Make sure you chill out some of my other videos. Peace, kiss, kiss.